You ever notice it's the loudest people in the room thinking the least? Fetterman just did something rare for a Democrat. He used his head, and now people are losing theirs. You guys gotta check this video out.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman joined 7 other Democrats who broke ranks with the party and voted alongside Republicans on a measure that could lead to the end of the longest government shutdown ever. Joining us from D.C. to tell us why he did, welcome, please, the author of the new book, Unfettered, Senator John Fetterman. Good morning. Alyssa has the first question, sir.
Good morning, Senator. So you were critical of this shutdown from the outset, saying it never should have happened, never should have come to this, even at times criticizing your own party. So I want to ask you, why did you ultimately decide to support this agreement? And where do you stand on the growing number of Democrats who are calling for Leader Schumer to step down in light of the shutdown deal?
Oh, there's a lot there. Well, first of all, it's not like I agreed to that. I mean, I've been consistently. Now, remember, this all that went back to March. I effectively kind of led the charge now that it's wrong to shut our government down. And then enough of us realized that that's just too risky and that's too much chaotic. And then we kept it open. And I know there was a lot of backlash for that. And I declared back then, we'll be right back in the end of September, and I will be there.
I'm sorry to pause him at such a great time, but why come Democrats only like order when it comes from one of their own? Trump has literally been saying this. Keep America stable, and they wanted to call it a dictatorship. But once John Fetterman puts his foot down and he steps up, now everybody's like, it's no longer a dictatorship. That's leadership. I don't understand that. Let me know down below in the comments. I'm sorry I had to pause the video so early to ask you guys that question, but yeah, just let me know what you guys are thinking. Make sure you're liking the video. We're gonna let this one play out. I'll catch you guys on the back end.
Too, because it's fundamentally the wrong thing. When you're confronting mass chaos, I don't think you should respond with more chaos or fight with more chaos. It's like, we need to be the party of order and logic and now respond in a way. And now I refuse to weaponize the SNAP benefit for 42 million Americans, that rely on feeding themselves and their family, or making flying in America less safe. Or I refuse not to pay our military and all of the unions attached to all of this and people. So for me, it's like I don't agree with that tactic to respond the circumstances that we're confronting on this. I absolutely support. What? I'm sorry. What?
Oh, no, go ahead, Senator.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, it's like Democrats. A Democratic Party has to respond, that we have to have the ability to agree to disagree on some of these core issues right now. And now, right, for me, I think it was the wrong thing to do those things, because under this shutdown, no one was getting anything. There was no SNAP. There was no, healthcare extensions on those things around there too. So for me, it's like reasonable Democrats can disagree on certain kinds of core things, but I hope we could all agree that chaos is the wrong response for the kinds of chaos that our nation has been in after the president's reelection.
And can I just follow up? Is Leader Schumer, in your mind, the right leader for this moment for Democrats?
I'm saying that it's like that's not really my concern right now. It's not like a leadership situation. It is, we are living in the backlash of the election. It's been effectively a year now. America decided to put us in the minority. And now, in terms of leadership right now, what defines leadership for me? I think that's order and logic and describing people exactly where we're at. And now we were all energized by the election just last week. And now for me, I think it's like, hey, let's take the win on that. And now we know there's a lot of backlash to this kinds of chaos. And now voters are going to respond to more order and the more kinds of not violating our core values to plunge our country into chaos for 42 million Americans. Food security, that's really parts of the essence of kind of people that I fight for. Now we have to be able to disagree on these things. And if you can't, and now as a committed Democrat that vote 90% of the Democratic line, I mean, now like that might be a bigger problem with our party in some way, that a committed Democrat from the most difficult and purple state in the country says, "Hey, I'm trying to call balls and strikes in the middle of this chaos."
Well, Senator Bernie Sanders said the vote was a horrific mistake. Governor Gavin Newsom called it pathetic and a surrender. Poll after poll found more Americans on both sides of the aisle blaming Republicans. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene blamed the GOP. As you mentioned, Democrats had big wins last week, so you had momentum. Why give in now? Why bring a butter knife to a gunfight? Are you willing to gamble that the GOP will negotiate on health care in good faith once the government reopens? Because if that gamble is wrong, 500,000 Pennsylvanians that you represent, their health care costs will skyrocket if you are wrong. And I believe you are wrong.
Well, first of all, MTG is quite literally the last person in America that I'm going to take advice or to get their kinds of my leadership and values from. And now, if Democrats are celebrating crazy pants like that, then that's on them. And now I don't need a lecture. I don't need a lecture from whether it's Bernie or the governor in California, because they are representing very deep blue kinds of populations, and a lot of those things were part of the extreme. And now remember, what really needs to win, the big win, is involving my state and other states and those things. And why have we arrived here after the election a year ago? We got to forget some of the things that cost us that election. Or now, for me, it's like, that's why I'm trying to remind people that kinds of the extremism, we can't return to those kind of things, and realize we need to find a way forward. And I would like to, rather than cite MTG, I'm going to cite one of the new governor-elects saying that my election is not a green light to continue the shutdown, because I promise you, this isn't a political game. It is viewed by many of us, but the reality is 42 million Americans now not sure where their next meal is going to come from, and because we vote like that, or people that haven't been paid for 5 weeks now, and that kinds of chaos. Those workers have to borrow more than $500 million, from their credit union just to pay their bills now. So for me, we're in the middle of this.
Senator, I got to.
See, that's one thing I don't like about The View, right? Every time someone starts spitting facts, they want to sit there and go to commercial. They want to kill your train of thought. That's what they like to do. And they probably interrupted him on the mic early on in the interview. You could hear him. He lost his train of thought. Then he had to try to find it. So you're missing a lot of information. What I'm learning, though, is truth doesn't need a team color at all. When someone tells you the scoreboard, you don't attack the ref. That's why people respect Trump so much. He doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what you need to hear. And Fetterman, he's learning that lesson now. And the left can't stand it. You can wear blue, red, or nothing at all. But if you think clearly, you're already on the right side. Let me know what you guys think about this pretty quick video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what you react to. We're out.